Man, oh. Losing is something that I can take, right? Like, I've seen it before. Yesterday is one of those games, though, and it's one of the frustrating parts because it wasn't easy. It wasn't simple. It wasn't something that it's just, hey, they were the better team than us, or hey, something just went bad. There's so much discussion to be had out of that game. There's so much blame that people want to place on Kevin Stefanski. There's so many questions surrounding PJ Walker. You lost the football game yesterday, a game that you were in. I try to reach the positives out of that game. And Ryan, there are positives to take out of the game. The problem is that some Browns fans will use anything at any turn to further their narrative. For a long time here, it was the Baker Mayfield narrative, and people want to either be proven right or wrong that it's Baker Mayfield. I think people truthfully would like it to be a Deshaun Watson narrative. People want to use this to either prove that he is or isn't the guy. I can't do that right now. But then there's this Kevin Stefanski thing. And I think Browns fans, the coach and the quarterback, right? There's the coach and the quarterback. And people pick their sides, and they get on their sides, and they don't ever come off of that. And there are people out there that have always wanted Stefanski fired, and yesterday certainly could be an example to say he could be fired. There are people that love Kevin Stefanski, and they could use yesterday to say, look at the job that he did. He shouldn't even been in that game, and look at the work that he's doing with backup quarterbacks. That's why yesterday was not easy. Yesterday was not simple to be able to just say, well, this is what happened and this is how it laid out. People will use it forever to continue to further their narrative on how they feel specifically about Kevin Stefanski this morning. We'll talk about him. We'll get to our Twitter question. Ohio State Cavs, Monday Night Football. A great weekend for us on Typical. We got it all for you right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. Hey, it's Ryan Tyler. A good Monday morning to everybody out there. Gloomy and dark, almost like a little Halloween, if you will. What's today? Isn't today all... What's the...
All Saints? I don't know.
Is that All Saints Day? Is that today?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
When is that?
It sounds good to me.
Oh, no, that's the day after.
Okay.
All Saints Day is the day after. So I don't know. All Hallows Day is All Saints Day because that's where Halloween is All Hallows Eve. I don't know what today is other than a pissed off Monday. Is that real? Put that on the calendar for the holidays. Say it's a pissed off Monday is what it is. Browns fall yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks. And there's a lot of questions surrounding that game, and it all comes back to really that third down play. There are things that we'll get into when it comes to PJ Walker, this defense. Slammed our Typico bet, didn't we, yesterday on that big boost of the little David Njoku touchdown, Myles Garrett sack. Dude, I was nervous.
That was good to see, man.
Well, I was waiting because Myles didn't get that sack until late in the game. And I was sitting there sweating bullets. If you don't know, folks, on Typico, we had a big play boost yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. I think that was plus 800.
It was something.
It was something crazy for
good
Njoku to score a touchdown, which he did, and Myles Garrett to get a sack, which he did a little bit later. It all unfortunately goes for naught. Browns fall 24-20. Late game, you score the touchdown for the Seahawks, the third down. And it's where a lot of people are going to zero in on today. Oh, man. So I sent my good, the bad, and the ugly out yesterday. And I'm going to be completely honest with everybody out there. The initial tweet, because I put that, I write that as the game goes on. And I edit it a lot. And to be honest with you, Ryan, maybe I blame myself because I had the Browns winning. Like, I had all these statements under the good about why I thought the Browns were actually going to win this game. And I had to edit that and change it because they lost. But then I did not have Kevin Stefanski on it. For the good, the bad, or the ugly. I didn't. And then I thought about it because a lot of people were angry in the Twitter inbox about it. And they said, where's Kevin Stefanski? Does Kevin Stefanski deserve to be on the bad list? And I tweeted and I said, yeah. For yesterday's game, yes. And it was the third down call. And the problem is that people cannot understand that I did not like that third down decision. It was a crucial moment in the game. You could have bled the clock on out if you got the first down. You decide to throw with PJ Walker. Interception, short field for Seattle. The other side of it, you run the football. You give it to Jerome Ford or Kareem Hunt, which, again, it's not Nick Chubb. I know it's not. You don't pick it up. Let's say you hand it off to Kareem Hunt. He gets smashed at the line of scrimmage, and you punt the football away, and you give Seattle a little bit of a longer field. They could have still driven down the field, scored a touchdown, and you still lose. That could have happened. But at least then, I would sit back as a rational fan and say, well, Stefanski did what we were supposed to do there. You ran the football. It didn't work. Defense couldn't hold up, and they scored a touchdown. They earned the win. That's at least a conversation I could be having today. You didn't. You put it in the hands of P.J. Walker. Now, the issue is, up until then, I thought Kevin Stefanski was having an amazing game. Yeah, people get upset when they run the reverse and it doesn't work, but I was happy that he stuck with the run. You got the ball to Amari Cooper. David Njoku had a good game, and you had your best P.J. Walker game. You had some RPO action, some runs with P.J. Walker that I really liked. No bones about it. Outside of that interception late, even the other one, whatever, and the fumble, you had your best P.J. Walker game. Now, it's relative because your best P.J. Walker game is still not good enough. The EPA is out. He's statistically the worst quarterback in football right now. I understand all of that. But you were having your best game with him. And Kevin Stefanski was having one hell of a game, and it got thrown away. That's a bad pun, and I really apologize. You threw it away right there. And you put it in his hands, and you didn't convert. And you lost the football game. All of those things can be true. And I can sit here this morning talking to you watching me and say, I don't want Kevin Stefanski fired. He is doing an amazing job with this team. Go back to the clip that we sent out last week where I got rabid. And I said, you are 4-2. Now you're 4-3. Okay, you are 4-3. With backup quarterbacks for half of your time, with no Nick Chubb, you have found a way to compete. One of my favorite things to take away from that game yesterday, Ryan, our team fights. They are competitive. That is a reflection of, yes, sir, the defense, but Kevin Stefanski and Jim Schwartz, and give the players a lot of credit for that. But it's the culture that Kevin Stefanski has created here. It's one of my favorite things. This is the best coaching job he's done in Cleveland. This is better than the year in COVID when he won Coach of the Year. I can still be upset about the play call. I do not understand for the life of me why it has to be one side or the other. I'm not allowed to sit here and say, I believe in the guy. I didn't like the third down call. We move on. But people have to grab this and say, look, he sucks, man. Look at this idiot out here calling these plays. What a moron. And then the other side of it is, whoa, wait a minute. How dare you speak ill of Kevin Stefanski? Look at the job that he's doing. How dare you? Why can't we just sit here and say, he's doing a hell of a job, and I frankly think he made a mistake. We move forward. Like, it is just so annoying. It's maddening to see some of the fans out there, to see some of the people that they just want their pound of flesh. And frankly, we're still in this. You are 4-3. You took a Seattle team that, you know, they're not, well, Kansas City anymore. We'll talk about that in our picks coming up. This is not some juggernaut team, but Seattle's a good team. If you would have gotten smoked in that game, which at a point, when they go straight down the field to start the game twice, you go, all right, we might be in for a long afternoon here. And you might say, as I tweeted, your P.J. Walker magic has run out. But they found a way to come back. They found a way to fight themselves back into the game. And I'm not here for moral victories. I'm pissed off that we lost that game. I am pissed off that we lost that game, as I'm sure the players are, and I'm sure Kevin Stefanski is. You should have won that football game yesterday, but you didn't. And if you want to look back just as quickly as that 3rd and 3 call, if you think that that is the microcosm of the game and that's where it changed, then you are probably pretty upset with Kevin Stefanski today. Now, there are some people out there that are putting the blame on P.J. Walker because technically, yes, he threw that interception. Let's talk about that for a second, okay? Because one of the defenses that I got yesterday from the I hate doing this too, the pro Stefanski crowd, the people that I would say are borderline realist, right? You are winning with PJ Walker, right? You were in that game with PJ Walker. So by making that statement, follow me on this, you out there are admitting that it is still PJ Walker, right? When you make the statement that you are winning sometimes in spite of PJ Walker, and that's not meant to be a shot. It just is what it is, man. He is a backup quarterback. His stats are not proving that he's doing anything more than that. And people are jumping on the XFL, CFL star, PJ Walker. Okay, so if you are going to make that statement, then you have to understand how kind of weird it is that you put the ball in his hands, right? If you're going to say, if you are going to give all the credit in the world to Kevin Stefanski, which I'm giving him, oh, sorry, garage beers. Don't open that beer. It's when he had into the freshman when you knock it over. We'll slide another one on in. I could have been on prices, right? So,
yeah, you look like Vanna White.
There you go. Shout out to Garage Beer. I love it. I wish I could drink that this morning, but I can't. So, if you want to sit there and give all the credit that you were able to win with PJ Walker, then you are, in essence, understanding and accepting that it's still PJ Walker. Why would you put the ball in his hands there? Why would you put the ball in his hands there? Now, were the Browns, did they have some insane average yesterday? No, right? I think they were below 4 as a team, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull up the box score. They were 3.9. Kareem was 3.9. Pierre and Jerome Ford each an even 4.1. One of my positives was I thought you, at times, ran the ball efficiently. Right? Ran the ball efficiently. Now, was that a down when you go back and watch it where Seattle stacked the box and they had all those linemen up there expecting the run? Yeah, probably. But I just would have felt better putting it in the hands of your running back. After the game, Kevin Stefanski was asked about it, and he gave the right answer. Sometimes you want play calls back. And that is that's the crux of being a head coach. Ryan, they complete that, we're throwing bouquets at Kevin Stefanski and carrying him back to Bree on a throw.
Isn't it funny how that works?
That's how that works, man. Is that not, right? Mm-hmm. That's the game. And I'll tell you all this, too. Kevin Stefanski understands that. No matter what you want to say about him, about his on-the-field play call, management, all that, I believe he's a guy that gets it, okay? He's not one of these coaches, and we all know who we've had here in the past, the Hugh Jacksons of the world, some of these other guys that take offense to it, or they get bothered by it. I guarantee you Kevin Stefanski is one of the guys that understand that comes with the territory. And he accepts that. And that is part of being a leader, is accepting that I'm going to get criticized and I'm going to get second guessed on every single turn of the road, every time. And that's unfortunately what's happening today. So there's no part of me that worries about Stefanski being able to handle this, because I think he can. I know he can. And that's why I feel good about being able to say, as a fan, what? I'm going to wake up pissed off this morning. I'm going to say we should have won that game. It upsets me. I didn't like the play call, but go get Arizona this weekend. There is no part of me after that game yesterday that feels any different about Kevin Stefanski. None. I didn't like the play call. I didn't. It was a mistake. It cost you a game. People want to jump on he's been doing it for 4 years, or we've been upset with him. Sure. That's that's fine. You want to take that tact, and that's how you feel about Stefanski? That's fine. That's not where I'm at. That's not where I'm at. And it's the butterfly effect. You don't pick up the first down on the run, you punt it away, they can return the punt for a touchdown. You could have just still had Geno Smith run down the field, or you punt it away and Geno Smith throws a pick on the very first play and you win the football. It's football, man. That's how it goes. The other part is we are a team that expects to win. With all the crap that is going on, with all the crazy stuff that is going on, we are now a fan base that expects to win this game. That is a positive. I'm happy to be in this situation. This is no longer us fighting to win. Remember when we would just win 4 games a year? We're already, you know what I mean? Like, it's all relative. And it's the crux of Deshaun. Is Deshaun Watson ready? No, we're not going to talk about him then. You know, we'll get into the trade deadline stuff coming up, and I just, I trust the reporting. It's legit people. Diana Rossini, the Browns are in for a wide receiver and a running back. Running back, okay, fine. Wide receiver, I don't understand, but we'll talk about that coming up a little bit. But that's where we're at this morning. You had a game that was in your grasp, and it slipped away. That's going to happen. That is going to happen. And especially when you have not your starting quarterback out there, when you have a guy that you got your best PJ Walker game. You did. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. And give credit where credit is due to Seattle. That's the other part that people are just somehow forgetting. Seattle's still a really good team. It doesn't make me feel any better this morning, but it's Seattle. Like any good team, what happened? You gave them an opening. You gave them an opportunity, and they took it. And they went and won the football game. This is going to get spicy on Twitter. At Matt Fontana Show. Is yesterday's loss on Kevin Stefanski? Do you put yesterday's loss on Kevin Stefanski? Yes or no? We'll post that. It's going up right now. I'm watching Ryan do it. He has now clicked it. It is in the ethos forever, Ryan. You can never take that back. It's up at Matt Fontana Show. Do you put yesterday's loss on Kevin Stefanski? I'm going to vote straight up right now here. No, I'm not. I didn't like the play call. You know, defense, yeah, you could have stopped him. People wanted the holding call on DK with MJ. I didn't see it. Okay. There were illegal hands to the face. Refs had to work their way into that game anyway. You know they had to. And it's not just me blindly defending Kevin Stefanski. I would never just blindly do any of that. But it's just there were a lot of things that didn't go your way in that game. There weren't. And if you want to just boil it down to say that there was a mistake on that third down call, sure. But it goes back to you have got to then give credit for Kevin Stefanski for the rest of the game. Like, that's truly how I feel. Out of a 60-minute football game, I thought the Browns played 57 of them pretty damn well, right? 57 of those minutes of that game, they played pretty well. Well, I guess the opening part of it. But really, it was just the end of the game. And that is really part of the reason why this league is so fun. Because, yeah, you have blowouts. Go see the Dallas game. You know, you have games, but they love that drama where late in the game with 3 minutes to go, it comes down to that last drive. Sometimes you'll be on the other side of it. And that's what happened yesterday. You were in the game until the final drive, until the final couple of plays, and you couldn't get it done. That's the game. And I don't want to say the defense ran out of gas, or was that the best defensive game I've seen? No, of course not. But they made plays when you needed them to. That MJ interception was massive to keep Seattle. Where would you be, too, without that? Because they could have kicked a field goal there. It would have been a complete... You play that game till you go crazy. Well, if this one happened here, if they wouldn't have made that call there. They were in the game. They were in the game, and it came down to a crucial call that we just never know. Right? It'd be different if it was Nick Chubb. If it was Nick Chubb, I think we'd be having a much different conversation this morning. And I think there'd be some real issues there. I get it. And you thought you had a look. You know, because that was the other thing. You watch it, you see it, and you go, well, maybe there was a look there. And what happened? He bounced it off a helmet. My issue is that you put it in the hands of PJ Walker. And I can say that knowing what happened. You could have put it in the hands of Kareem Hunt and still not gotten there. That's a whole nother crux of this argument. What happened to Kareem Hunt? He didn't touch the football in the fourth quarter. Now, Ford was out there. Pierre Strong was out there. Kareem, after the game, admitted, he goes, I don't know what was going on. I would have liked to have had that carry. Sure. You didn't give it to him. Okay. And granted, they could have gotten stuffed. They could have gotten stuffed at that line, and the line was stacked. Go back and watch the play. Seattle was waiting for a run. Also would have maybe put a little bit of strength on that offensive line, who didn't have the best game in the world. They had some killer penalties. And on the one sack, two people were screaming at Jed Wills. They sent an extra defender. Go back and watch it. People are sitting there acting like Jed Wills wasn't blocking anybody. No. Batonio had a guy. Jed Wills had a guy. And actually, you give Jed Wills credit because he actually threw his arm out to try to stop. Was it the DB? I can't remember. It wasn't Woolen. Whoever blitzed. Maybe you didn't feel confident in the offensive line that you'd be able to run the football the way that you did. They lost. That's a tough loss. I'm upset about it. But I still believe in this team. Now, where you go from here after this game is a big question with the trade deadline tomorrow. We'll talk wide receivers and running backs in a second. The question is it now time to make that move at quarterback? You've seen 3 games of PJ Walker. And what did I say last week, Ryan? I said that this game was going to be my pivotal linchpin game on what I was going to do with PJ Walker. He went out there, 15 out of 31, 248, touchdown, interception. He was sacked 3 times for a QBR of 28. That is not going to get it done. Do you turn it back to Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Or do we believe that somehow Deshaun Watson will actually be ready for Sunday and the Arizona Cardinals? But I say this as respectfully as I can. That's it for PJ Walker. That's it. We could complain about letting Josh Dobbs go, who we'll see Sunday because it's not going to be Kyler Murray. It's going to be Josh Dobbs again. You can complain about not bringing somebody in. I don't know. And you could remedy that technically today or tomorrow if you really want to go trade for somebody or pick somebody up off the scrap heap. But I sit here right now today and say, that's it for PJ Walker. You want to keep him around. He's signed to the active roster. You want to keep him around for the rest of the season as the backup. That's fine. I can't start any more football games with PJ Walker. I just can't. And it's not me sitting here saying that Dorian Thompson-Robinson would have completed that pass yesterday. I was all for and fine PJ Walker starting. But it has become apparent to me that he's not going to be the guy. That he has filled in amicably, went 2-1 in this stretch, which is better than anybody could have expected. But it is clear that the Browns are competitive despite him. You got to do something. And I don't know if it's quite going back to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. That doesn't really, warm me or tickle me in the good spots or anything like that. Your answer is getting Deshaun Watson back. And you know that. And we know that. And I'm sure they're pushing for that. But it's, here's the tough thing, right? It's Arizona. Cardinals are the worst team in football right now. Do you feel like you could go out there and beat them with PJ Walker? I don't feel that way anymore, Ryan. I don't. I'm sorry. And I'm sure the Browns are sitting here today saying, do you want to know just what continues to stand out to me, man? One guess what continues to stand out to me from PJ Walker. There's one thing.
The turnovers?
No, turnovers. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's not a bad one, but that's not really what I'm thinking.
I don't know. Where's your head at right now?
Completion percentage.
Okay.
You cannot win completing less than 50% of your passes. You just can't. And it's been 3 games of it. Again, to somehow bring Stefanski back into it, I will give credit to Stefanski. I think the schemes have actually kind of been okay. There's been times that guys have been but whether it's scheme, whether it's PJ Walker, whether it's the receivers, I don't really frankly care. You cannot win in this game. You can't win in the NFL completing less than 50% of your passes. You just cannot. And then the fact that you have to throw it 31 times, done. I'm just done. And I hate doing that because it makes it sound like I'm calling for people's jobs. And I want PJ Walker here, but as the backup. And that complicates things because if you bring a quarterback in, that will all but certainly cost PJ Walker his job here. And I don't want it to be a lot. The guy won you 2 football games. Won you 2 games. Great. And I really look at it right. The magic ran out. I truly feel the magic ran out yesterday. But I don't think they're going to be able to recapture that with PJ Walker. And again, we take the tact here on the show. You call me when Deshaun Watson is ready. God, I hope it's this week. But then you're going to battle with him being rusty. You're going to battle with him being in there. That's even more of a reason to keep PJ Walker on, I guess. You start Deshaun Watson on Sunday, and I certainly hope, and I will say this on a Monday, let me put it this way. I have optimism that Deshaun Watson will play Sunday. I'll just put it that way. I have optimism that he's going to play Sunday. So you want to keep PJ Walker around because now you're afforded that third quarterback thing because all 3 of them are on the active roster. And you keep PJ Walker around if it starts to go bad. Okay, fine. I'm all for that. But I don't think I can see him starting more football games. I think I've seen enough. I have. And you are in a position which is somehow it's where we're at with this team. Where you are 4-3. You are in the thick of this thing, which is great. And you could sit there and say missed opportunities and a missile. I will tell you this, Ryan, that at 4-3, with the schedule that you have played and what you have had to deal with, 4-3 is a miracle. It is a miracle that you are 4-3. And very much credit to Kevin Stefanski and very much credit to the players and Jim Schwartz and everybody for getting you to this spot. But you are only to this spot. And you have got to understand that there are more wins that are needed. The job is not done. The job was not complete when you beat the 49ers. The season wasn't over when you beat the Colts. You didn't get some magic token that said, yeah, congratulations, you can go to the playoffs now. There are still wins that need to be had. And there are still issues on this team that need to be addressed and fixed. And I hope and I certainly think that they will. But we are in this spot now that you just got to make that change at quarterback. You just have to. And this is different than anything else. This isn't some star rookie that we draft. Well, every other time we've had a quarterback debate, what is it, Ryan? This guy, the star, again, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Kaiser, Cody Kessler, this guy sucks, Colt McCoy this, and Brandon Whedon that. We've called for quarterbacks' jobs for 20 years here. This is different. This guy came in kind of out of nowhere, thrown into a literal dumpster fire, quarterback out, running back out, all this kind of stuff. And you asked him to pull off some wins, and he did. Great job. But the magic has run out. And now it's I don't want to say the dirty part of the job, but it's the cold part of the job. I think you have gotten all you can out of PJ Walker. You now discard and move on. That's the NFL. That is the cold world. When they tell guys that you're not wanted anymore, that is the name of the game. And I'm sorry to say, you have squeezed every ounce of magic out of PJ Walker. And was it even really that magical? I don't know. You could say that the magic was the defense, certainly in those last two games, sure. And the defense, I thought, in total played okay. Not great. But I thought they went up against it. I was happy to see MJ Emerson getting locked up there with DK Metcalf. You just kind of felt like it was going to be a Tyler Lockett type of game. Something about slot guys. Oh, and you knew we were screwing Jake Bobo scoring touchdowns on a run. Of course. But give credit to Seattle, right? They had a game plan. They executed it. Defense can only do so much. Where do you turn your attention from here when it comes to quarterback? We all put all of our eggs in the basket that you hope Deshaun Watson will be back, and certainly it. Let's update our Twitter question first. At Matt Fontana Show. Are you blaming Kevin Stefanski for yesterday's loss to Seattle? 62-38 people say no. Ryan, I'm pretty emphatic on this. I'm not. I didn't like the third down call. It doesn't mean that I put all the blame on Stefanski. It doesn't mean that I want him fired. I know that's hard for some people out there to understand, but that's where I'm at, so I say no. Please cast your vote.
Yeah, no. Obviously, I'm not in love with the play call, right? And that's more so just because, you put the ball in PJ Walker's hands in the last moment. That's not normally a recipe for success. But am I mad at the play call necessarily itself? No. I mean, okay, stack box. Let's say you run Kareem Hunt, you run Jerome Ford. You're still hitting the 2-minute warning. So
right, there were some people that forgot timeouts and 2-minute warning.
Right.
There was a chance Seattle was going to get the ball back no matter what. Right.
So when you take that into account, I mean, yeah, no, I don't love the play call, but okay, for the last other 56 whatever minutes, he called a great game and he put us in a spot to win. And it's unfortunate that it ended the way it did. But it's PJ Walker. I mean, what do you want this man to do? He's not a magician. So people calling for his job, I think, is pretty extreme.
I mean, people are going to do it no matter what. Yeah. Eric on Twitter, sure do. He's the head coach, or at least he plays one on TV. He has to manage PJ every play. He seems to do that with Deshaun Watson. He did so with Baker. When is it going to be his tendency and not the quarterback? Terrible play call with the game on the line. I mean, he has to manage PJ Walker every play because it's PJ Walker. It's not as easy to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, just let him go out there and make plays. Let me ask you this. Are the Browns void of playmakers? And you would instantly come back and scream no. David Njoku had a really nice game. Amari Cooper had a really nice game. I thought the run game was better. But, Donovan Peoples-Jones has been the missing man. They try with this Elijah Moore stuff here and there, the Marquise Goodwin. But I guess it's just not the vision that I had. And part of it comes back to the quarterback. When you have a quarterback that can distribute the football, you'd be sitting here talking about the riches that the Browns have with these receivers. But I mean, there's a point to sit back and it's like, again, I think Amari Cooper's really good and David Njoku was really good, but you're stagnant on all. Like, there's just times that I sit there and I go, who are we going to turn to for a play here? And the thing is, it all runs through the quarterback, as it always does.
Yeah.
Sluggo on Twitter. CLE Walleye King. Sluggo on Twitter. I wonder if he's in the Fall Brawl. Do you know what the Fall Brawl is?
No idea.
It's a walleye tournament.
Sounds like wrestling to me.
And it kind of is pretty close. Pretty close. I've entered the Fall Brawl many times. Never won it, though. It's a big walleye tournament out here on the lake. So I'm assuming he's in it. He goes, weak take. Too much time on RPS. It was a great game. Wait a minute. Sluggo. Okay.
Where is this comment?
It's on my Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Weak take, too much time on RBS. It was a great game, and PJ missed a wide open touchdown. Simple as that. Always calling for the head coach to be run out of town is getting long in the tooth. I'm going to tweet him back right now. Can you please tune into the show right now? I'm not calling for his job.
Too much time with RBS.
Dude, okay, and here's the crappy thing about Twitter. People see tweets and then they apply them to what they believe.
It's like you ask a question.
And I get it. Okay, we are afforded to do this job. I love this job. I'm doing this job a long time. I can't tell you how many times I would love to scream at people and just go, can you please just listen to the show? Can you please listen and tune in? And Sluggo, if you do tune in, please tweet me back so I know that you're listening. We're going to do the show for one person right now, and that's Sluggo, CLE Walleye King. And then I'm going to ask him some hot spots out of Lorraine here in a minute. That's where we used to dock our boat growing up. We're out of Copper Kettle Marina. Shout out to them. So, Sluggo, please tell me if you're back. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they see the tweets and they think that that is everything. And I just ask you to tune into the show. I just ask you, these are the takes that I have. And yeah, my question is, here's the thing. It was a question. It was not a statement. My question was our question of the morning. Do you put this on Kevin Stefanski? Do you want to know the answer to my question? It is no. The answer is no. That's how I voted. That's what I've been talking about this morning on the show. That is my answer, man. So, people are angry today. I understand that. And it's just, I would
weak take.
Yeah, weak take. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate. Not the first nor the last. I'll probably tell you that much. Like, seriously, I just asked the question. You didn't even allow me to answer the own question. You didn't even allow me to answer the question that we asked this morning. You want to know what? I am so ready for a world that we don't bitch about the head coach anymore. And the problem is, I don't know if that'll ever happen in this town. It's an NFL thing. And there's always that honeymoon period. And that's long gone. I get that. And unless you're Kyle Shanahan, unless you're Andy Reid, there will probably be people out there. I'm sure in Kansas City this morning, they're waking up and Andy Reid's over the hill and he sucks. But I wonder if this town will ever get there. And I don't know the answer because it's just so annoying. Of the instant, I'll tell you what. I will let everybody know when it's time to fire the coach. I've seen it. I've seen enough. I know when a quarterback is not the answer, and I know when a head coach is not the answer. And most people out there do. And it's maddening. Oh, my God. It's so annoying, man. And yeah, it's a loss, and it's frustrating. So people just jump on it. And they just can't let it go. And they're going to use this to further their narrative on when it comes to Kevin Stefanski. In total, I think he's doing a great job. I think he's doing a fantastic job. And that's not my position to call for his job because I don't think he deserves that. Now, come the end of the season, what do we know, Ryan? What do you, me, and everybody know? If the Browns miss the playoffs, we will be on Stefanski watch, and there will be a lot of questions of people saying that he should be fired. That is what we knew entering this season, is it not? That if they miss the playoffs, that we are probably going to be looking for a new head coach. And that's a tough way to operate, but that is fair, right? I want this team to be successful. Whatever combination of players and coaches that is, I don't care. I want the Browns to be successful. I believe that they can be successful with Kevin Stefanski. I believe that they can be successful with this defense. To be honest with you, I have questions if they can be successful with Deshaun Watson, but I want to see it. I need to see it first when it comes to Watson. So I don't know if we'll ever get there. That mythical land of being able to handle a loss like this and not wake up and just go fire the coach. It's not always the answer. That has been the answer for years here. Is instantly just go fire the coach. Go fire the coach. Because that's all we know. Because that's all that we've ever done. And to be honest with you, it was always deserved. Have you ever seen a coach that left here outside of Kyle Shanahan? It was just the OC. Did anybody ever leave here and go, man, we really screwed that one up? No. So I understand why some of you out there feel the way you do, because you had nothing but reasons to feel the way that you do. Because they made bad hires and they got bamboozled by some guys, frankly. And you've been through bad coaching for so long. I am here to tell you that Kevin Stefanski is not a bad football coach. He's not. And there's going to be some of you out there that will never believe me, and you'll never accept the other side of it. I got nothing for you. And that's not me saying that at the end of this season that he's for sure going to be the head coach. Because I know as well as you do, if they miss the playoffs, they're probably going to fire him. And that sucks. Because then who are you going to bring in? You're going to start this cycle all over again. It's not blind optimism. It's not blind faith. I'm watching this team. I am watching what they are doing. Was there a mistake on third down? Yeah. Did I like that play call? Absolutely not. But I believe in the big picture of what's getting built here and what they've done with the culture. Dude, if there were some other coaches that the Browns have had over the last 20 years with this team, they'd be 1-6. Seriously. They'd be 1-6 with some of the other head coaches that we've run through this place. And people just don't want to accept that. I got nothing for you, though. That's fine. That's fine. And now, do you want to know the worst part of all of this? Yeah, okay. It would, and I said this last week. If they lost to Seattle, I was going to start this show on Monday and say, they lost to Seattle. Like, we're still in a good spot, and I feel that way. It's the anti-Stefanski crew. It's just dragging me down all of a sudden. The thing is, you are now, if Watson plays Sunday, do you know the pressure that is now on him? On top of, yes, Stefanski. You are going into Sunday as a must-win game. Whether it's P.J. Walker, whether it's Dorian Thompson-Robinson, whether it's go some trade for some guy, it doesn't matter. Sunday has now become a must-win game because you cannot let this stuff fester. And then, yeah, it's the Arizona Cardinals. Say this on a Monday. You have no business losing to them. None. You are at home. They are traveling out of their time zone. And they are the worst team in football. Yeah, they took it. They kept it close with Baltimore. And yeah, they shocked Dallas. I will sit here coming up on 9:40 in the morning on a Monday. You have no business losing to the Arizona Cardinals. I don't even care if you covered 7.5 already. It's where you're at in Tipico. That line will probably go up if Watson plays by a point, if that. I don't care. You win by 4, you win by 40. You have got to win this game on Sunday. That's that fact. That's simple. Because the other thing that people seem to forget this too, Ryan. It wasn't just like hey, you look. There are new, did you? You want to know one of the most disrespectful statements you can say to somebody when you're arguing sports? Did you watch the game? I hate that, and I'm not like that. But like. You got to know what went into it was Seattle. Okay, it wasn't Arizona. You watch how the game unfolds. It's not just, hey, look at this piece of paper and the Browns lost. You know what went into the game as well as I did. And you watched it, and you're smart. I know you are. Browns fans are very smart. Very. So you got to watch the game and understand what led to what happened. You lost. Sometimes you will. And it's the other part of where I want this franchise to get, where we can handle a loss or two and not everything is go jump in the lake, we're screwed. That, again, goes back to years and years of scars and dysfunction, where one loss and you're sitting there waiting to fire somebody or you're waiting for the shoe to drop, the other shoe to drop. That's not where we're at. That's not it. You had a game that you came up short in, you had a bad play call on third down. We move forward. That's it. And people just want to jump on all this other stuff. There are positive things to take out of that game yesterday. There frankly are. I loved MJ Emerson's game yesterday. I thought he played extremely well. They got the ball to David Njoku. He had a hell of a game. I thought the run game at times was very effective. I thought that was the best that I've seen out of Kareem Hunt. I don't know why he didn't get carries in the fourth quarter. We'll probably get more answers on that today. But frankly, and we're going to talk trades here now, I'm fine scratching running back off of that. I'm fine with Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt. I was before, and if anything, yesterday, even on the bum ankle with with Jerome Ford, I'm fine with that tandem. I'm fine with that duo. I feel good about that. Defense made some plays when he needed them to, and unfortunately fell at the end. Like, there are positive. No, yeah, again, the negatives, it's just, what do you want to grab onto? What do you want to grab onto this morning? Do you want to grab on some of the positives? No, you're going to grab on the negatives because we lost. That's fine. That's the easy thing to do. You lost. Grab on the negatives. Grab all this other stuff that you're pissed off about. And it is a little therapeutic. You need to get it out. You need to send me an angry tweet telling me I got weak takes and you don't want to watch. Okay, fine. That makes you feel better, then so be it. It's part of being a fan, right? It sets your Sunday. It sets your week. You had a bad taste in your mouth watching Sunday Night Football. You woke up this morning a little pissed off. I get it. That's how it goes. You're laughing like there's more fun tweets in the Twitter inbox, right? Anything else?
There's not. I'm still laughing at that one dude who said a weak take.
Oh. Sluggo's your new favorite guy, man. Cliff note, the Chief and Ford were open past the line to gain. Walker went to the only player double covered. He never looked anywhere. All right. Sometimes, okay, let's talk about that for a second. Let's not have a debate at the moment about the play call. Wash that out. Let's enter a world where you had no other choice but to put it in PJ Walker's hands. Okay, fine. The one side of things would be he had gotten you to this point. He had made some plays in this game. And he's your quarterback. You're going to ask him to make a play. It's one side of it. The other side of it is he is a backup, and you need to protect him sometimes from himself. I get, like, the crux of it, is it unfair to put PJ Walker in that situation? Think about the answer. Think about that question for a second. Was it unfair to put PJ Walker in that position? For people that say yes, he's a backup, he hasn't done much to show you that he can make a play, you shouldn't have done that. No, the other side of it, he's a professional quarterback that you felt good enough to start the game and you are putting your trust in him. I need him to go make a play. Both those are acceptable answers. On that one, yeah, there were other guys open, and he made the wrong decision. That either falls to, hey, you had to put it in his hands, he needed to make a play, and he didn't, or maybe Stefanski should have guarded him a little bit more. I don't know. You know? Here's the one thing that I do know. If that's Deshaun Watson, of course you put it in his hands. He's Deshaun Watson. Where it's again, it serves no purpose, but like the debate of like, yeah, if you had Nick Chubb, we'd be a lot upset if he didn't run the football. If it was Deshaun Watson, of course I want the ball in his hands. We'd be bitching for other reasons this morning, saying that, man, he made the wrong throw. It's just there are too many variables. I think that's probably the thing that people can't understand or are having the hardest time with everything. There are too many variables in this damn thing. It's not Deshaun Watson. It's not Nick Chubb. It is the Seattle Seahawks. They were stacking the line. There were guys, like, it's just so many things. It wasn't easy. And you came up on the short end of the stick. I don't know what to tell you. Twitter inbox is on fire. At Matt Fontana Show. At Matt Fontana 83. Yeah, let me get to some of these real quick before we talk trade deadline. Sopa on Twitter. I don't think Kevin had any blame. He wanted to keep the ball out of their hands, and everyone was open on that third down play. It just bounced off the helmet. Well, okay, that goes back to, again, you put it in his hands, you asked him to make a play. Ethan tweets, it's a team game. There's plenty of blame to go around if you split it up amongst Kevin, the defense, Walker, etc. Sure. I always keep thinking Anthony Walker, by the way. I don't know it's really PJ Walker on that. Eric says, how about the quarterback? My God. Oh, okay. So this tweet came out, or these reports came out. Let's talk trade deadline for a second. Because there are reports that the Browns are looking at a wide receiver and a running back. Running back, I'm fine with Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford. I'm fine with that running duo. So, whatever. Wide receiver. And I tweeted this. Wide receiver seems weird when you're not getting the ball to Donovan Peoples-Jones and your quarterback situation is messed up. A lot of people, or not a lot of people, but the comeback on Donovan Peoples-Jones, maybe he's not getting open. Maybe he is not separating enough. And the advanced stats always take some time to open up. But Donovan, there's a separation stat. I should have looked this up. I apologize. All right, it's not easy to find, so we'll continue on. Whatever his separations, I don't know if that. Here's my thing is, I believe that when you had to put PJ Walker into the game, you needed to slow it down. And what has happened? You throw it to Amari Cooper, you throw it to David Njoku. That's it, right? Like when you look at trying to simplify things for PJ Walker, he can't be distributing the football to 6-7 different guys. He has got to lock into his number one receiver, which is Amari Cooper, and David Njoku, the tight end, is always what? Usually the quarterback's best friend, right? So that is what I believe has happened with Donovan Peoples-Jones. I still think he's good. So that would not necessitate a move for wide receiver, in my opinion. And yeah, Cedric Tillman's been banged up. It's up and down with Elijah Moore. The wide receiver thing I don't get. And I will say this today as we get ready for coming up I'm bad at math, 36 odd some hours, 24, 30, whatever. The trade deadline is tomorrow. However many hours that is. I'll say this today going in. I don't expect the Browns to make a move. I really don't. They're down on draft capital. Yeah, they have the money, but they need to spend it for Deshaun Watson. And I say this relative. I don't know if I see a position of need. Now, Greg Newsome suffering a groin injury, which he also had one in camp. Don't forget that. That is concerning. Cam Mitchell. He was staring at that end zone, baby. He was thinking about his celebration. I feel bad for Cam. But you got to roll with him. Okay, fine. The rest of the defense, maybe. My whole point is I don't know if I see a position that I desperately need. Well, a quarterback. Well, that should be remedying itself soon. That should be remedying itself pretty soon when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. So wide receiver, I mean, for what? Like, okay, Jerry Jeudy. Now where are the Broncos at, by the way, after getting that win? Are they all rejuvenated? Remember, dude, it's so funny. And I want people to remember this too, because I need to do this from time to time. Remember the lessons that you learned. Remember the lessons that we have learned over the years. What happened yesterday, Ryan? Titans. Oh, yeah, we're not trading Derrick Henry. The Panthers. All of these guys for the Panthers. Actually, we're not really going to trade them. And I get the posturing. And I think Padone had a tweet about this. And Nick's younger than me. I think he's going to learn some of this too. Is that, yes, sometimes when it gets out in the media that we're not trading this guy, it is to up a price for the rest of the league. Bro, they do that behind the scenes. GMs are on the phone with one another all day. They don't need to go crying to the media to leak out that they didn't get a good enough offer for Derrick Henry. Do you want to know who knows that they didn't get a good enough offer? The 32 NFL general managers. Rand Carthon, who is the general manager in Tennessee. You want to know what he knows? He knows that he didn't get a good enough offer for Derrick Henry. You know what the rest of the other 31 GMs know? That they didn't get a good enough offer for Derrick Henry. They don't need a report. They don't. So I don't expect a lot of moves to happen. Like the NFL trade deadline is always the one that there's always this hype and we read the articles and this and that and nothing happens. Now, if anything, you want to know what happened yesterday, Ryan Tannehill's stock even went further down the crapper. That's what happened yesterday. Will Levis goes in, 3 touchdowns. Maybe we should have signed you under Hopkins. I'm just kidding. Calm down. I didn't want Hopkins here. Goes out for 3 tutties yesterday. It is what it is. So now Will Levis, that's his job. That's his job for the rest of the season. So now, do you want to know that game that has been played? Tennessee knows that they have nothing to stand on. They have jack squat nothing to stand on, asking for a Ryan Tannehill trade because you, me, and everybody knows Ryan Tannehill's not seeing the field again this year for Tennessee outside of an injury to Will Levis. So if anybody really was interested in Ryan Tannehill, a conditional 7, maybe we'll get that done. I don't expect them to trade him. I don't. The NFL trade deadline is always this every year. It's a lot of hype and no substance. Yeah, you get a trade here and there. You get a move that go, okay, wow, they traded Kevin Byard. Okay, I expect it to be kind of a dud. I expect it to be a dud. Specifically for the Browns, when you make a trade in season, really for any sport, but specific for football, why do you make that trade? Because you truly believe that this is the missing piece and this is what's going to push us over the hump. And that's it. For the Eagles to go get Kevin Byard, they felt like this is it. This is the cherry on top of this Sunday that we're going to go to the playoffs and we're going to go win a Super Bowl. Sometimes there are trades for other teams to stock picks or to add a piece here and there. And yeah, there are some picks of just this guy isn't getting play here, so we're going to move on from him. I'm talking about the big level moves. For the Browns, what? I'm asking that question. Seriously, what? And I'm open to it. I love trades. I love Madden. I love making these moves. I love the draft. But what? Seriously. Does Terrence Marshall really do it for you? No. You're right, Ryan. No. Does Jerry Jeudy just always that's what I'm saying. Like I don't even see anything. I don't like. I'm writing it off. And lessons learned from the past. Remember this: just because they check on a guy or make a phone call doesn't mean that they're active in the trade market. You want to know what? I'd bet you my bottom dollar. I bet you this garage beer right here. I'll get it in the fridge for you. Of course Andrew Berry is called about players. He wouldn't be doing his job if he didn't. Doesn't mean that anything actually came of it. You could call for a player. Hey, man, I hear player X. What are you thinking? Hey, man, we need a 2nd-round pick. All right, we appreciate that. Andrew Berry hangs the phone up and goes, F that, no way. And he moves on to the next one. You always check on a bunch of players. He's knocking on our door. You can let him in. I don't know. Do you want to go to break? I don't know. Is it a delivery? No, there was somebody. Did you see that? There was a girl standing right there. Did they really knock and run away? Oh. Got ding dong ditch. 'Tis the season. Did they egg us? Did they TP the Oh, that's fun. I wondered who it was. Looked like my sister-in-law for a quick second, but I would assume she would have stopped.
We just got pranked.
Dude, can I tell you what my wife almost signed us up for real quick? So tomorrow's Halloween, right? So I live in West Park. Great neighborhood for trick-or-treating. So I'm very thankful that my in-laws, they all live very close to us. We're a very close-knit family. And my brother and sister-in-law live like 2 streets over. So we all gather there. And there's, in total of all my nieces and nephews, there's going to be 6 kids. 6 kids all about under the age of 5, which will be fun. And, my in-laws come, and it's a great time. So we leave my house. Like my house, we're not going to be there. We're going to be over walking on the other street. So I asked my wife, I go, did you get a bag of candy to put out in a bowl? And she goes, well, why would we do that? We're not here. And I go, are you signing us up to get egged? I go, we're not going to be at the house. You got to put a bowl out of candy.
Do you trust people enough, though, to take that one piece? I don't care.
That's like you put the sign up, and what is it? Take one piece, please. But that's, and yeah, okay, we're all a-hole kids. You take the bucket and you just dump it in your bag and you move on your way. My wife goes, no, we're not going to be here. And I go, we are signing up to get TP'd. There's a tree in the front. There's a tree in our tree lawn. That's going to be full of toilet paper come Tuesday night. I go, we have to put out a bowl of candy. What do you mean? So 'tis the season for getting ding-dong ditched and egged and all that other kind of stuff. So, yeah, you heard that knock. I'm not
No.
Now I'm going loony, man.
There was 100% a knock.
There was somebody there.
Yeah, no, there was.
And here's the funniest thing is that the airport security's right there. I'm staring at the cop. He's right there. What's happening, man? What's going on down here? Well, big listener to the show, I guess. I don't expect the Browns to make a move. Hey, hit the breaking news sounder, Ryan. Will Levis is going to start for the Titans moving forward. Oh, my God. No way. Wow. He deserves it after that. Now Chico and Padone are going at it about Hopkins.
That's a civil war.
Padone was like, oh, he had 3 touchdowns. First off, Nick, he had no touchdowns prior to yesterday. Okay. And Padone tweets, it blows my mind that some people just thought he wouldn't be a value addition to this offense. And I'm with Chico. No, what blew people's mind was that he wanted $15 million. That was it for me. I'd love DeAndre Hopkins on this team for 5, not for 15. So I think Padone's missing the mark there on that. But Reflog Show, Monday night. Catch that with them. I'll see Padone. Maybe I should get a take on that. All right, we got a lot coming up. Shout out to the Cavs. I thought that was a little bit of a gutty performance on was it? Yeah, no, not yesterday, Saturday, right? Mm-hmm. Pacers, right? You were down all of your guys. I could go back to the Thunder game, being a little more upset about that. Pacers game, what'd you want? You didn't have Donovan Mitchell, you didn't have Darius Garland. Shout out to Karis LeVert, though, man. I mean, he started out hot, 33 for Evan Mobley. That was a game you kind of worry more about what Evan Mobley is doing. So Cavs off to a semi-slow start, but it is what it is. But I thought a gutty performance of the Cavs. Ohio State did what they needed to do. Didn't quite cover, but we'll see tomorrow night. College football rankings come out tomorrow night. I think Ohio State will stay at 3. That's where they've been in the AP poll. They deserve that. So well done on their part. Well done for the Cavs over the weekend. So we have a lot to get to with that. We'll dive back into our Browns games, or the Browns game. We'll get in back to our Browns question at Matt Fontana Show. We got y'all locked and loaded here. We'll take you up till 11 o'clock, but we will go around the league. Pretty good weekend for us on the picks. Some shocking games, some not shocking games. That all comes your way next. I mentioned Reflog, folks. Big Play is the place to be. Mondays, you got us, 9 to 11. Chico, 12 to 2. You got the Reflog Show. Tuesdays, you have Josh and Maria Cribbs. Wednesdays, you have Bruce Drennan bonus time. You mix in Bobby Carpenter, Anthony Schlegel on Sunday nights after Ohio State. That's always, I believe, Ryan, that's our second most popular show. The Ohio State show there with Bobby and Anthony on Sunday nights. So that's there. You mix in Greg and Blake Williams, which, of course, has been a big hit so far with them with Come Get Some, Hanford Dixon show. We got it all for you. And then we're in the Cavs season. Booby and Rafa. Booby's World. Big Play. Just follow us on Twitter, at Big Play. Everything is retweeted there. The live video streams from Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, they're all there for you. Instagram's aplenty. We got you covered. And all of it streams on the iHeart app. I know there's a lot of people streaming us on the iHeart app. You download it, you take it with you. Go Big Play. Just search Big Play. You get our show live. It's right there. Big Play on the iHeart app. Check it out there. Let's go around the league. We'll do it when we return. 1 hour down, hour straight through. Tweets are coming in. Stay with us. Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Here we go. Time to go around the league. Some help for the Browns, some other games, some not, some help, some shockers, some not. All right. Woo! Dude! 14 games last week that we picked. Number 15 is tonight. Ryan and I each went 10, 2, and 2. Woo!
I feel like, Matt,
Yeah!
I feel like I'm the Carousel Levert of betting. I either go 0 for 9 or I look like a Hall of Fame
10,
better.
2, and 2 for us there this weekend on Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY150. Dude, if you follow these bets, I didn't bet every single one of them, man, but holy cow. There was some money to be made on Tipico this weekend. Our big play boost hit, Njoku touchdown, and Myles Garrett sack. Dude, I think that was like plus 800. Seriously, I tweeted about it. We got the boost. We get to Monday Night Football. You bet this line out, man. We were smoking. One game to go tonight, which we'll get to a little bit later. Ryan, take it away around the league. Here we go.
All righty. Well, the Jets got the best of the Giants in a pretty gross game. I think that's fair to say. They win 13-10 as it goes to overtime. Zach Wilson with a late throw to get him in field goal range, and that was close. They spiked that with maybe half a second left.
And they had to go to Tommy DeVito. So I saw DeVito in the game, and the first thing I thought of was Tommy DeVito from Goodfellas. And lo and behold, that guy's name was actually Tommy DeVito, the quarterback. I mean, the Giants, they were coming off that win. I thought they actually had some stuff rolling with Tyrod Taylor. And then what happens? Rib injury. He had to go to the hospital. So certainly hoping the best there for Tyrod Taylor. Tommy DeVito was 2 of 7 for -1 yard. So if I'm the Jets, I don't feel good about that win. If I'm the Giants, you fought. Now, of course, what happens this week? They expect Danny Dimes to come back off his neck injury. They need a bad, dude, the Giants passed for -9 yards in the game as a team. Tyrod Taylor had 4 of 7 for 8 yards. Darren Waller and Matt Breida were the leading receivers at 4 yards. Garrett Wilson had 7 catches for 100. Now, weather played a factor in a lot of games. Like, there was that wet sloppiness. We'll get to the Steelers, Jags game here in a minute. But it was a push for us, by the way, because the spread was 3. Crap game. I don't know what to tell you. Giants, I guess they're fighting Jets. I would not be happy about that win. I really wouldn't.
Alrighty, well, Dolphins bounce back against another very, very mediocre team. They beat the Patriots 31-17. The Pats did get off to an early lead, but Tua's never lost to Bill Belichick.
The other thing was, you talk about live betting with our friends at Tipico. I jumped at Miami -3.5. They easily covered anyway. Tyreek Hill. Now, granted, Jalen Waddle had a $121 a touchdown. That one touchdown to Tyreek Hill, no jokes. I'm a loyal subscriber to Red Zone. I love Red Zone, especially now that I can just pay for it I watch on my tablet, $15 a month. I'm in for that. I'm sitting there holding my baby. Our daughter's 4 months old this week. I almost threw her through the ceiling when Tyreek Hill scored that touchdown. And you want to know why? He is unguardable at times. It is incredible. It is insane to see Tyreek Hill. He is unguardable. Unguardable. He and Kelsey from time to time. He's on pace for 2,000 yards, too, which is quite impressive as well. Tua is a machine, 30 out of 45. Patriots don't have anything going for them, and that kind of makes sense. Easy cover and easy win for us.
Alrighty, well, the Browns lost, but at least the Steelers lost too. Jaguars improved to 6-2. They are tied for the best record in the AFC.
Sloppy, ugly game. The field conditions there at Accu-Sure was not good. Then Kenny Pickett got smushed. Now they got questions. They might have to turn it to Mitch Trubisky, because correct me if I'm wrong, the Steelers are on Thursday Night Football this week, right? I think
you
they have
would
the
be
short.
correct. The Titans.
They have a short week this week. So Trubisky's going to have to get the start. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, it feels like he just has to throw an interception every game. Travis Etienne is a beast. He is so good watching that game. If you're Pittsburgh, that felt like a last gasp for them for some reason. I don't know why. They don't have much going for them on offense. Najee Harris seems like a bust. And then all of a sudden, they're not throwing it to Pickens. I mean, no, he got the touchdown. That was his only reception. Pittsburgh's not good. Jacksonville is pretty good. Did you see that stat that they had too, by the way? Jacksonville's got the second best record in football since week 10 of last season.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're hot right now. They're going to win the AFC South. Sloppy game, but good thing the Steelers lost.
Already, well, the Titans got a win over the Falcons. They improved to 3-4. Atlanta drops to 4-4. But I guess the biggest story in this one is, to nobody's surprise, matter of time, Desmond Ridder was benched.
Do they go back to him? It's really kind of funny to see that they had to play the backup quarterback. Yeah, Will Levis, 4 touchdowns, 3 of them DeAndre Hopkins. Tennessee might feel like they're still in this. They might feel like a little spicy. There are a lot of people out there that really thought Will Levis was a good pick. And it was a matter of time before they turned it over to him. I mean, 4 touchdowns in your debut is like, let's see what substance you have beyond that. Is Taylor Heineke the answer there in Atlanta? I don't know. You know, Atlanta seems like a real, Atlanta seems like a crappy team, but somehow they're 4-4. I'm sure they would have been in the market for Kirk Cousins. We'll get to that coming up. You want to talk about a team that needs a quarterback? Atlanta needs a quarterback bad. Not to rip your Bearcat there, Desmond
Justin
Ridder.
Fields.
Yeah. God bless you. Would you trade him for Chicago?
I would love to see Justin Fields in Atlanta. I think that would be a perfect
What
fit.
would you ask for Justin Fields? Realistically.
First rounder?
2 ones.
2 ones.
I'd ask for 2.
Yeah.
The question is the stink and all the problems that he's having in Chicago, are they going to follow him to Atlanta? Now, you might say, like, a lot of that is created because of Luke Getsy and what they have going on in Chicago, but... Okay. You put Justin Fields on the Atlanta Falcons. Are they a playoff team? Do they win the NFC South? Do you believe that? I don't.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't make that move.
I kind of do.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
I'll listen to it. Because another game I'm sure we'll get to is the Saints. But, yeah, I don't know. But they need a quarterback. They need one bad.
Alrighty, well, speaking of quarterbacks, how about the number 1 overall and number 2 overall picks?
This was a fun game.
Carolina, Houston. Bryce Young heard the criticism, but he gets the best of C.J. Stroud in their first matchup of their careers. It's giving me the Tua Herbert vibes. You know, they're always going to be compared. That's how it works when 2 quarterbacks in the same class get drafted.
Oh, did I think I called that on Friday, did I not? I think I did. I think I said Carolina was going to get their first win. Fun game, even though it was low scoring. It was back and forth. And C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are friends, too, which is great to see. There will be that little budding rivalry there. I kind of would have liked some more points in that game, but still, congratulations. You know, they're kind of off the schneid now. There's always that pressure of getting the one. 15-13. Good for Bryce Young, though. I was happy for him to get his first one.
Yeah, all right. Well, Dak had a good game. 4 touchdowns, 304 yards as Dallas blows out the Rams 43-20. And I told you, Matt, always they play so good at home. They're a fraudulent home-only team.
And now Stafford's hurt. Stafford took a shot. He's got a bum hand. Remember, all right, there are teams that I've put on the fraud alert. One of them was the Chargers, and they got it done last night. The Rams, don't buy. I'll tell you, I'm selling Rams stock. Nobody going to buy it. Ain't nobody going to buy it. Remind me anytime that I think about taking the Rams to just don't. Okay? Please just remind me when I think about taking the Rams to don't. I think they're fake. I think they're phony.
All right, well.
Dallas, okay. Dude, like,
No,
why,
I agree,
like that
I
was one of
agree.
those games that
They
you
just don't-
watch,
they-
and this was just the Rams going, here,
Yeah.
just take this game. We're not going to do anything of any semblance to try to win this game. We'll cough it up, and we'll play like a bunch of idiots. Here, just take this football game. That's what happened with the Rams. So I guess good for Dallas. Well done. But remind me never to take the Rams again, because I did, and it cost me.
All right, well, the Vikings win in the NFC North matchup against the Packers 24-10, and
Oh, but
Vikings
they
are going
lost.
streaking, but as we all know, bad news, Kirk Cousins, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but it's all but that. Torn Achilles, likely out for the season. Big blow there in Minnesota.
Not Brett Rippon, because he's the backup in L.A. I watched him go in. Who's the backup for the Vikings? Sean Mannion was there forever. Is he
It
still
looks
there?
like it's Jaron Hall.
Okay, Nick Mullins on IR. Minnesota better go trade for a quarterback today. You know who I would go call? Ryan Tannehill. Seriously, there's your move. Tannehill and Kirk Cousins, I feel like are kind of the same quarterback in a way, but Minnesota, they're now 4-4. Are they leading the NFC North right now? No, the Lions. I'm sorry, the Lions are 5-2. So at 4-4 right now, if the playoffs started today, they would not make it. They would not make it. So in the conference, you have the Eagles, Seahawks, Lions, and Cowboys, 49ers, and then the Falcons. Minnesota's right there with the Saints and the Bucks at 4-4. I'm sorry, the Bucks are 3-4. Nonetheless, you feel like you have a chance to continue to go. You got that big win. They are streaking a little bit. I'd go trade for a quarterback. Go get Ryan Tannehill. Packers, they're going to have a top 10 pick. It's probably the right thing to do. Do you want to know if I was the Packers, what I'd do today? Trade Aaron Jones. Get him out of there. You'd probably get, I don't know, maybe a 2. I'd give, here's the thing. Wow. Aaron Jones has some money, though, too. I don't know, man. If Tennessee couldn't get a 2 for Derrick Henry, I don't think you're getting a 2 for Aaron Jones. I like Aaron Jones a lot, so that's why I'd probably get him out of there. Packers sucked. Remind me to never take them either.
Alrighty, well, the Saints got the best of Gardner Minshew and the Colts. They improved to 4-4, and boy, are they glad to have Alvin Kamara back. Yeah,
2 touchdowns there. A needed win. Had to have that there for the Saints. I think the interesting thing is to now watch more of Taysom Hill. Like, I watched that game popped up a lot on Red Zone just because they were scoring touchdowns so much. Give it to Taysom Hill. Like, seriously, you might be worried about, like, I don't want to say hurting Derek Carr's feeling. You got to win games, and you are, in my opinion, at the best when you give the ball to Taysom Hill. I know he's a gadget guy, but they need to work that into their offense a little bit more. To be honest, too, I was happy to see a little resurgence there from Michael Thomas. I think they got receivers down there, man. They have skill players down there. And they just need to find a way to put it all together. Colts, they're like on the teeter of the season just blowing up. You played out with Gardner Minshew the best as you can. You got to have Anthony Richardson. Colts aren't going to be able to hang on for much longer.
Alrighty, well, the Eagles are now the class of the NFL at 7-1. They beat Washington 38-31.
Jalen a little bit there
with 4 touchdowns. Sam Howell also with 4 touchdowns, and Washington has now twice played Philadelphia pretty well.
I mean, say what you want. They're I would say it's their boogeyman, to use a Halloween reference, 'tis the season, but there is something to be said about sometimes teams just they clam up. And that game was in Washington. It's not an easy place to play. And give the Commanders credit. We pushed on that. It was weird. We had 2 pushes this weekend. That's why I always like the hook, man. I always like the hook. Because you and I would have got it at 7.5. We would have covered.
Yep.
Push on the 7. Washington just plays them hard. And I think there might be some about Jalen Hurts, but games like that help prepare you for the playoffs. And they're a team that are certainly veteran-laden, but to have a game that you got to compete, you got to push. But I'll tell you, man, Eagles don't seem like the same team to me. That's crazy for me. They're 7-1, right? I don't know. There's just something about them. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe I just was so ingrained to think that they were going to take a step back. They're a damn good football team. They're really good.
Alrighty, well, the Ravens jump up their lead in the AFC North as they defeat the Cardinals 31-24. But good for you, Matt, that last-minute cover on that field goal.
Yeah, needed that bad. Cardinals are not very good. Again, take for what it's worth with Baltimore. They got the win. They did what they needed to do. But I watched a lot of that game. I'm going to rewatch that game, actually, because I want to see what the Cards are bringing to town. The answer to that is not much. Right, not much.
Alrighty, well, a little bit of shocking there. Denver beats Kansas City 24-9.
Yeah.
What a weird season for Denver. You get 70 points put up on you, and then you hold the best quarterback in football out of the end zone?
Here's the crazy thing. I feel like the weather was in their head. Because what did we see all leading up to it? Snow Bowl at Mile High. I turned the game on, Ryan. There's no snow on this. They cleared the field. I really think that they got psyched out. I think the Chiefs got psyched out. Now, I know Kansas City gets as cold as anywhere, and they deal with weather as much as anybody. I feel like Denver had the home field advantage in a way, which is weird because the playing surface was fine. I think KC got psyched out on that game. Watch, they're going to go win 6 more straight on Kansas City side of it. Denver, 3 touchdowns for us. Are you a believer in Denver Broncos? You think the Broncos are starting to turn things here a little bit?
No.
No?
I'll never be a believer in Denver.
Okay. 3 touchdowns for Russell Wilson. So they've won 2 straight, and they've won 3 out of their last 5. So the teams they have beat, the Bears, the Packers, and the Chiefs. And this, of course, comes off they just lost the Chiefs a couple of weeks ago. Here's their schedule. Here's Denver for you. They're on the bye this week. Then they come back at Buffalo, home against the Vikings, home against your Cleveland Browns on Thanksgiving weekend. Texans, Chargers, Lions, Patriots, Chargers, Raiders on the way out. Yeah, they ain't going to the playoffs. They suck. That's a tough schedule, man. That's a really hard schedule on the way out.
Alrighty, well, 49ers lose 3 straight, and the Bengals, well, we said they're back, and they're back as ever. Joe Burrow, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 10 receptions, 100 yards, and a touchdown.
Now, on Friday, you and I both took the Bengals emphatically because we thought it might be Sam Darnold. Purdy did play, but it still wasn't enough. You throw for 365, and you only got 1 touchdown out of it. Everybody brought this up. Yeah, they miss Debo. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey's banged up. You want to know who they really miss? Trent Williams. That team is not the same when it comes to running without Trent Williams. Brock was only sacked twice in that game, but still, they're battling some injuries right there. San Fran has a tough little, this is that tester time for them. So they're on the bye. Then how about this? They travel to Jacksonville. Then they're home for the Buccaneers, at Seattle, at Philly, home against Seattle. 4 out of their next 5 games are teams that should be in the playoffs. That's going to be a tough little stretch for Kyle Shanahan and the crew. They get healthy, though. I think they'll be a better team, but a different team, I should say.
Alrighty, last on the slate for Sunday, the Chargers get the victory on Sunday night against the Bears.
Hapless Bears.
Seems like the Chargers finally had their first real game where they put all 3 phases together, and it is against the Bears, but it's still good to see maybe a little bit of momentum there in Los Angeles.
A little bit. I also think that there's an element that when you face a team that you know you're supposed to it's a feel-good game. It's a get-right game, and that's exactly what the Chargers did. So, well done on their part. They moved out. We were able to cash that tonight, or last night as well. Don't forget, we'll get to our picks on Monday Night Football coming up a little bit with Tipico. All right, let's dive back into the Browns. Great stuff on Around the League. You want to bet alongside with us, folks? Go to Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY150. Deposit 50. Get that 150 plus that $30 dog pound bet futures bet. Tipico, use that code BIGPLAY150. Let's head to our Twitter question up at Matt Fontana Show. Are you putting yesterday's loss on Kevin Stefanski? That is our question, yes or no. We are at about 60-40. People say no. Eric tweets. Oh, no, we already read that tweet. He says sure as does. Michael sent a tweet about Andrew Berry. That's, the quarterback position and riding it with P.J. Walker the way that you have, can you say that that's been a failure, Ryan? Can you say that that has not worked?
I mean, yeah, it hasn't worked, okay. But, hindsight's 50-50, right, with the Dobbs trade. But, I don't see how you could sit there and put that on Andrew Berry.
I don't either. People were screaming for it. You went 2-1 with your backup. That's fine. That is what it is. It's the same thing that we said over and over again. Your world, the Browns' world, my world, nobody's world's going to be right until Deshaun Watson comes back. Everything, every little ounce of energy that you have has to go back to Deshaun Watson coming back. T. Davis tweets, only a fool at that point of the game would call a pass play with a journeyman quarterback. Well, that comes back to the conversation that we were having earlier, right? The conversation is, do you blame Kevin Stefanski for putting it on P.J. Walker, or do you blame P.J. Walker for not executing the play? Because people are going to jump on this, and as they have been, there were guys wide open. There were guys, go back and watch that play again. There were 2 guys, one over the middle and one in the flat, that were open. He bounced it off the helmet, and it got picked off. It's the chicken or the egg. Do you blame Kevin Stefanski for putting P.J. Walker in that situation, or do you blame P.J. Walker for executing the way he did in that situation? I don't know. I would tend to lean, I didn't want that on the arm of P.J. Walker to win that game. I didn't. 3 yards is not a fall over. It's not a tush-push situation. What'd you want? What'd you want him to do?
Matt, what do you like more, tush push or the brotherly shove?
Well, the brotherly shove is funnier because it's the play on the words there. But, old man, get off my lawn. I hate it. I hate the play. I hate it. I think you can run it. That's fine. You should not be able to push the quarterback. There was a rule that they got rid of about aiding the runner. You weren't allowed to aid the runner, and they got rid of it. Well, of course, teams take advantage of it. And would you have felt better if they had just done that? Lined up for the tush push? and just tried to go get 3 yards?
No, because, oh my gosh, imagine if that happened and then they failed to get it. People would be like, what the hell are you doing?
It comes back to that exact point. There will always be hindsight. I know how it played out, and I'm going to sit there and scream about it when it comes to Kevin Stefanski. In reality, did it all fall on him? Some people think so. I don't know if I'm quite there. All right, Ryan, you know where I'm quite at? It is time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. I do this after every single game. It's up at Matt Fontana 83. It is time for the good, the bad, and the ugly from the Browns game against the Seattle Seahawks. I will start with the good. Number 1, this team plays and fights hard. Say what you want, and this again is an indictment on Kevin Stefanski, that they play their asses off. They don't show up at a game and think that they're going to roll over. They have guys that are going to go out there and fight. Now, you have created a group and a cultivation of players that foster that. The Anthony Walkers of the world, the Grant Delpit. So I'll get more to Grant Delpit here in a second because he had a hell of a game there. You have a lot of guys on this team that believe and buy into it and foster that culture of we're going to fight, we're going to push, we're going to get after it. And that's what so number 1, even with how that game ended, this team fights and they play hard. Number 2, the defense on third down was remarkable. What was the stat, Ryan? I believe at one point they got off the field on 8 straight third downs. Third down efficiency, the Seahawks were 4 for 12. That is 25%. No, it's not. It's 33%. Math. Fun. Thank you. That's a little higher than where the Browns' average season has been, but they were leading the league at 20%. But it was incredible to see that stretch they had. And you kept giving the ball back over to the offense. The defense kept you in that game yesterday. So specifically on the third down efficiency, I thought it was great. You got a takeaway too, which was nice. 2, actually, right? 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, 2.
Yeah. Hurst, because didn't...
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Mo Hurst. Yes. That's right. I was thinking, I'm like, I know the MJ Emerson one. I was like, what's the other one? Mo Hurst. What a play that was, by the way. So defense in general was on the good, but specifically on third down, I thought was really great. David Njoku, if you can't stretch the field with him, do what they do. The screens, the over the middle. I will always sit there and say that I think David Njoku is underutilized. I know that you can't get the football to everybody, and you got to spread it around the best that you can. But when I think more about Deshaun Watson, he is a guy, most elite quarterbacks have an elite tight end. Dallas Goedert with Jalen Hurts, Travis Kelce with Patrick Mahomes, Purdy's got Kittle. Some of the best offenses in the league have that tight end. I think David Njoku can be that from a physical standpoint, from, frankly, a paid standpoint, because he is paid as a top tight end as he really should be. I want to see him get involved more. And if it is just the little screens, get him the ball, get him in space, and see what he can do with it. So he's definitely on my good list. I thought the run game was great. They ran it. I give credit to Stefanski for running the football and staying consistent with it, and you wore them down. There were drives, Ryan, even late in the fourth quarter, where they wanted to get off the field. Seattle wanted off that field in the worst way possible, and they couldn't do it. They could not stop the run. And that is with some backup running backs. I can be nitpicky. There were a couple of runs from Jerome Ford that I go, cut back, cut back, cut back. There was a lane. He's going to learn. He's going to continue to do that. That was the best game that I saw from Kareem Hunt. Maybe not statistically, but from the runs that I saw, I'm fine with Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt handling the carries from here on out. I don't need to see any more. I don't need to see another back in here. I'm fine with those two. I thought the run game was great. MJ Emerson and Grant Delpit in that secondary. Delpit continues to make himself a lot of money. He made some really big plays out there. And we said this on Friday, on our Friday report card, Ryan. I looked at MJ Emerson and said, you're a big body dude. Here's one of the biggest bodied receivers you could find in DK Metcalf. And kept him out of the end zone, which I think was a good part of it. Had the interception to take points off the board. And I think he frustrated DK. 5 for 67. He did have that 143-yarder on 14 targets. How about that, too? 14 targets, 5 receptions. That's well done on MJ. I know Delpit was involved a little bit. Delpit more on, what was that one play that he took Fant away? Was it a third or fourth down? Smith, they did like a fake, and he rolled out, and it was meant to be like Noah Fant being wide open. Delpit took it right away. That was one of my favorite plays of that game yesterday. They brought it up on a replay, too. So I thought Grant Delpit had a great game yesterday. To the bad, the P.J. Walker magic ran out, man. Like, that's it. You squeezed every little ounce that you could out of PJ Walker. And I said this earlier, and I'll revisit it here. They need to do something at quarterback. If you need to go back to Dorian Thompson-Robinson, yeah, there's a chance that that's much worse. You go back to Deshaun Watson, there's a chance that's worse too. You need Deshaun Watson to play Sunday. I have a feeling that he will. I believe today he will. And we will approach it that. Call us when he is ready. But make no mistake, I don't think I can see PJ Walker back out there, man. And it's not just, and like, this comes from a dude, job well done. You know what I mean? It's like he's getting honorably discharged. For all you great service people out there, thank you very much for your service, all the men and women that protect our country. We are honorably discharging PJ Walker. You fought admirably for this team. You went 2-1 in your mop-up duty. Thank you. Well done. Here's the bench. Here's a nice paycheck for the rest of the season. We hope you don't have to play anymore. That's what it can be. But I think it's time to move on from PJ Walker. I don't see a trade. Because a trade, then what? That signifies Watson's out for an extended period of time. Even if Deshaun Watson can't... Oh, God bless it. Now I'm backtracking myself. Who would you rather start Sunday, PJ Walker or Dorian Thompson-Robinson?
PJ Walker, it's not even close for me personally.
I know. After everything I just said, because Sunday you have got to win. Sunday you must win. Yep. Must win game. So you'd probably feel better with PJ Walker in there. I'm going to put every focus and energy and effort that I have to Deshaun Watson playing in this game. Because he just has to. So I put PJ Walker on there. It is. O-line, costly penalties. You know, the one hold on Bitonio and the screen was kind of iffy. The one sack that everybody was screaming at Jed Wills, they just sent an extra defender. And that's on PJ Walker. You've got to look to that blind side before your pre-snap to realize there's somebody blitzing and nobody is here to pick him up. I wish I had the play up specifically. Walker dropped back. The back stepped up in pass protection to the right. Jed Wills was blocking a guy. Joe Bitonio was blocking a guy. And there was a DB coming on a blitz. Wills kind of, I think, got a hand on him. And Walker got obliterated. You got to check that. That's on the quarterback to get the football out. You got to get it out quick. There's nothing really there. And then it's bad. I think Greg Newsome has another groin injury. He had one in camp. You would assume that this might be a reoccurring thing. And I like Cam Mitchell. I saw some things out there. The positive, I guess, is, okay, you go into Sunday's game. There's no vaunted passing attack there for the Cardinals. But then after that, so you get done with the Cardinals this weekend. Then you go back to Baltimore. They have a lot of receivers. But then the Steelers, you know, Deontay Johnson, okay, Pickens. I guess I hope this isn't something more serious with Greg Newsome. And then the ugly... All I put there was not the Seattle throwbacks, because they were pretty good. They were pretty nice. I left Kevin Stefanski off there purposely. And then I tweeted him in, and then everybody freaked out. Brian put coaching under the ugly. Heights ambassador, you forgot Stefanski play calling on 3rd and 3 when you're controlling the game is definitely in the ugly column. Stefanski's horrible play calling on Twitter. Add PJ Walker's decision-making to the ugly. I don't understand staring down a double-covered receiver on 3rd and 3 when you could run for the first or have just thrown it away and allowed the defense to have a chance. Yeah. Josh, Stefanski stupidity. Ryan, every loss while our $230 million cheerleader sits on the sidelines landing solely on his shoulders. Teal on Twitter, play DTR.
No. Absolutely not.
I mean, he tweets that we have seen the peak of PJ Walker. And I can't deny that, but also you're 2-1 with the peak of PJ Walker.
That's fine if we've seen the peak of PJ Walker. Okay, his peak is we can beat the Cardinals. Like, that's fine. Greg tweets, people are bashing Stefanski. Dude is missing the two main parts of his offense in Deshaun Watson and Chubb, playing 3 running backs and a practice squad quarterback, but was still outscoring a strong 4-2 Seattle team. A few plays don't work, then he's a horrible coach. Like, what the hell? I agree with you, Greg. I agree with you. I would say one bad play. It was a play. Like, dude, no matter what, after every game, if you want to grade the coach, nobody grades out perfectly. And I'm sure Kevin Stefanski will grade himself and say, you know what, maybe that didn't work on 3rd down. But he put the hands in his quarterback.
And it came up snake eyes. Didn't work for you. Get Sean Watson back, maybe we'll have a different conversation. All right, when we come back, we have a lot to do to wrap up our show. We'll get to our typical bets for tonight. We got Monday Night Football in action, the World Series back tonight as well, so we'll get bets on that. We'll talk a little Cavs, talk a little Ohio State. We'll reveal our bracket of the week, and we'll send you on your way. It's certainly not a victory Monday, but it doesn't feel like that bad of a Monday, right? It's not quite the devastating Monday that we've had in the past, but nonetheless, we'll wrap up our show. We got a lot to get to, and we'll do it next. Stay with us right here on Big Play. All right, wrapping things up here. We got a lot to get to. Talk some Buckeyes, get to some Cavs. We'll get our picks for Monday Night Football as well. A 7-point spread between the Raiders and those Detroit Lions. And, of course, World Series game number 3 tonight. So we'll get our odds. Just fade me on all of that as it goes. But we'll get to that coming up as well. Want to talk some Buckeyes. 24-10 win over Wisconsin. This defense for Ohio State is something that in college football, I think it's kind of rare to find. That all being said, when Allen left that game when he was hurt, like, nice win for the Buckeyes. Camp Randall is not an easy place to play. You got to win. Fine. Ryan, would you say they've been impressive in their 2 wins over Penn State and Wisconsin? Or they just did kind of what you expected them to do?
I mean, you can look at it this way. The defense has been absolutely elite, and Marvin Harrison has just
Marvin Harrison is unconscious. He's so good. Thank God Travion Henderson is back too. You see how big of a piece he was missing there. The question will be Kyle McCord. And watching that game, it's certainly people were screaming from the mountaintops that he's not the guy, that you can't trust him. Couple interceptions, sure, fine. I've not been overly impressed with Ohio State. I've not been. The thing is, they now enter a stretch where I just am on upset alert until you get to the Michigan game. They're not going to lose to Rutgers. They have no business missing to lose in Michigan State or Minnesota. And then you gear up for a Michigan team where I don't know where their head's going to be at. I have no idea where Michigan will be at after all of this stuff that is coming out with the Wolverines. Correct me if I'm wrong, didn't really see anything groundbreaking over the weekend because Michigan was off, were they not?
Yeah, it was their bye week.
Okay. I mean, there's reports that Ryan Day was somehow involved in this, and I've had quite a shift when it comes to this Michigan stuff. They might just get a slap on the wrist here. I did see that there was a report, I think from Florio, that if Harbaugh faces sanctions in college, that he might not be able to run to the NFL because there might be like not collusion or antitrust or something like. It was interesting to read that, like, if Harbaugh thinks that he could just leave Michigan and just go pick up some coaching job in the NFL and not face anything, that might actually not be true. I don't understand Harbaugh, right? He's a guy that, went to a Super Bowl, got to the college football playoff, but we know maybe now why he did and maybe why TCU smoked him. Even going back to Stanford, elevated them, but it just seems like every place he goes, Ryan, he just leaves this wake of destruction. And he comes in, and what do you have? You have like a 3 to 4 year run before everybody gets sick of him and his bull crap, his weirdness. And in the pros, it's even less, right? When you're in college, these poor kids owe everything to Jim Harbaugh because they got to play and they got all that kind of stuff. The administration, oh my God, he's Jim Harbaugh. What are you going to do? You get to the pro game, and there are guys that make more money than you that can tell you, dude, shut up, or I don't want to listen to your crap anymore. So I don't understand. So let's call it for what it is. If people think like they're going to move on from Kevin Stefanski, Jim Harbaugh is going to be on that list. He's reportedly been interested before, and I hope we don't get there. Just from a standpoint of keeping Jim Harbaugh the hell away from my football team, I hope Kevin Stefanski keeps his job, let alone other reasons of why I believe in Stefanski. I like Kevin Stefanski, but for the love of God, keep Jim Harbaugh away from the Cleveland Browns. So my whole point is you don't know who Michigan will be in a month when you have to face them in the game. So Ohio State at this point, you're on cruise control. But I'd like to see them get back to the 37, 40-point type. Because in their 3 biggest games of the year, Notre Dame, Penn State, and I'd say Wisconsin, they weren't ranked, but they were 5-2. Ryan, you put up 17, 20, and 24 points. Now, you won those games. Fine. And if you're going to do it on defense, then this new level, sure. It's a little different than how the NFL goes, or I'm sorry, how the rest of the NCAA goes. But I guess I just get nervous. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not about Michigan State. It's not about Rutgers. It's not about Minnesota. Like, the B-level Ohio State team should be able to beat those squads. Save that clip. But I'm talking about, do you have time in these 3 games to get yourself right to go play Michigan? Because that's all that really matters. And yeah, it's weird. You beat a good Wisconsin team. You beat them by 2 touchdowns. Why do I have a sour taste in my mouth? I guess this Ohio State team is different, where a lot of Ohio State teams, they would just bludgeon teams to death, right? They would score 4 or 5 touchdowns in a game. But then there were also games that they would lose because the offense sputtered, because Justin Fields or CJ Stroud didn't throw 4 touchdowns. So you'd struggle and you'd lose those games. I guess maybe it's the flip that is needed, just not one that I'm accustomed to, that, you're going to win low-scoring games. So what I really need is, against these couple of teams coming up, I would like to see Kyle McCord go throw for 4 touchdowns. I'd like to see the offense explode for 45, 50 odd some points, and then make me feel a little bit better. Nonetheless, they're in a good position. Again, they have no business losing to the JV squad that is Rutgers coming up this weekend. I hate Rutgers. I think they're so bad. Didn't they just win this weekend, though? Rutgers is 6-2. Good for the fighting Greg Schianos. They beat Indiana. That's right. They beat Indiana. But they had a bye. Oh, coming off a bye. Uh-oh. The Scarlet Knights. Yeah, I need to put some respect on Schianos there.
I'll tell you what, Matt, your Marvin Harrison Heisman's looking better each week.
I placed that bet on Tipico, buddy. You know I did. And like on another weekend where, let me see if I can pull up this, like, Penix didn't do much, did he?
No, but on Typico, he's back to the favorite.
Oh, yeah, go figure. Jordan Travis, 3 touchdowns for Florida State to get a win. Penix, 4 touchdowns in Washington's win. But that was a little bit of a nail-biter against Stanford. I think Oregon smells and reeks of a team that's going to back their way into the playoff.
But would you... I'm trying to like play it out in my head, right? So like you got Georgia, and this is all going to shape up because Alabama.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow with the thing. Here's my. I think it's going to go Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and Florida State. That's how it is in the AP poll.
Yeah, I mean because you're obviously going to put Ohio State in over Oregon if they lose to Michigan still with the 1 losses. And then,
all right, so Florida State on the way out, they have Pitt, the U, North Alabama, and Florida in their non-conference game. They will then go to the ACC championship and probably face Louisville, who they did not play in the regular season. And Louisville's a spicy team. So there's Florida State's path to go. Washington's path. They have USC this weekend. They should win that. Then they're Utah, who Oregon just destroyed. Then they're Oregon State and Washington State on the way out. In the Pac-12 championship game, because they don't have divisions anymore, right? They got rid of that, the Pac-12. They did. So Washington's undefeated at 8-0. Here's the interesting thing. USC today would be in the Big Ten or the Pac-12 championship. They are 5-1 in the conference, while Oregon is 4-1. Now that remedy will remedy itself because USC has to play Washington, who I think they're going to lose to, and they still have to play Oregon. Yeah. So there's a chance you get Washington, Oregon rematched in the Pac-12 championship. So that'll be one spot. Here's how it's going to break down. Ohio State, Michigan will be for a spot. Oregon, Washington will be for a spot. And then I truly think Florida State's going to walk their way in, and so will Georgia.
Well, yeah. So, here's the thing, though. Right. Florida State goes undefeated. They win the ACC. Okay?
They have no reason that they shouldn't.
Yeah. So they're in. Okay. And then you have, let's say though, Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC. Okay. So they're both 1 loss. Do you put Alabama in?
No.
But how do you keep them out if they win the SEC with 1 loss and they just beat Georgia?
Because the thing is, the whole reason that the committee was created, which I want people to remember this too. They got rid of the BCS, which I loved. Okay, growing up in a BCS era, I loved it. They created this whole thing.
So you think Alabama's done?
So there's no way Alabama's going to make it. Because here's the reason why. Do they pass the eye test for you? And people will bitch. You are screaming at me right now, right? Oh, what the hell? Tell me, seriously. Do you look at that Alabama team and feel like that's a team that you would like to see in the college football playoff? Because that's another question that people, not do they deserve to make it? Do you want to see them in the college football playoff? And the vast majority of people would probably tell you no. And for me, it comes back to strictly this. I don't think Jalen Milroe is very good. I don't. So they lost to Texas. That's their only loss. Their top 25 wins. They beat Ole Miss 24-10. They just beat Tennessee 34-20. They have LSU this weekend, a top 13 team at night in Tuscaloosa. Then a Kentucky team, they're just not the same with that Riley, what's his name, Leonard kid being hurt. Oh, that's Duke, not Kentucky. Anyway, so they should beat Kentucky. Chattanooga and Auburn. So they're going to finish this thing out at, well, we'll get to our picks for that. I think they might lose to LSU. But anyway, even if they go the rest of the way out, they'll finish at 11-1 overall and undefeated in the conference, and they will go face Georgia in the SEC championship. To your point, you're right. Let's say they beat Georgia. Is that an impressive enough resume? Because if I really wanted to get critical about it, I could say, is Texas who you thought they were?
Well, yeah. So okay.
And they lost to them. I'm just trying to
think of a million different. Okay, so let's say, Alabama beats Georgia, right? So that's Georgia's only loss.
So
you
go back again.
So you keep them in, but then you take Alabama. You don't put Alabama in.
Put Alabama in. Who are you going to take out?
It's going to be Ohio State if they lose to Michigan.
But even at that point, if you put Georgia, because I'm assuming we're operating that if Alabama beats Georgia, would you put Georgia in?
Well, so that's what I'm saying. I feel like if
Okay. Because I'm operating that if you put Alabama in my mind, Georgia goes. So then you have Georgia, Alabama. You only have 2 spots left for Michigan, Ohio State, your winner of the Pac-12, and Florida State.
So do you think there's a world where if Alabama does beat Georgia in the SEC championship, neither teams get in?
Neither of those. No.
Right. That'll never happen.
That'll
right?
never happen.
Yeah. So, right. So then, okay.
So let's go out your path. Alabama makes it, but Georgia does not, right?
See, I don't think they're going to take Georgia out regardless. So.
See, that's why I believe.
But then, how do you?
What that I get where you're coming from. That's again why this whole committee was created, so they can do what they want. They will take an SEC champion. There's no bones about it. They are going to take this SEC champion. So they'll take them, or not champion. They're going to take a SEC team. And I think if Alabama beats Georgia, they would still take Georgia. And I think they would leave Alabama out because they're going to take Ohio State or Michigan. They're going to take Oregon or Washington. And then I think they're going to take Florida State.
Yeah, I think people are kind of, I don't know, maybe not everybody, but there's a lot more scenarios where Ohio State doesn't get in with that loss to Michigan, you know?
Yes.
Like what happens when Texas, if Texas wins the Big 12? Right?
No bones about it. Ohio State lose. Okay, here's the thing. I will make the same statement that I'm making about Alabama to Ohio State. They have not been impressive.
Yeah.
That comes back to some of these wins. Now, they might have more top 25 wins, and they might have a stronger resume, so to speak, than Alabama. Because, again, Alabama lost to, at the time, number 11, Texas, right? Alabama was 3. Texas was 11. Then from there on out, they beat a 15-ranked Ole Miss team, and they beat a 17-ranked Tennessee. They will not have another regular season win, and then they could technically beat number 1 Georgia if they did. Ohio State, you beat you would technically could potentially lose to number 2 ranked Michigan. Penn State was what? 7. And Wisconsin was unranked. And then you beat Notre Dame when they were 9. 7. Okay. So it'd be easier if I just did this while being succinct. Ohio State beat a 9-7 team and lost to a 2, if that plays out. Alabama will have lost to an 11, beat a 15, a 17, and a 13, and potentially beat number 1. That would be a stronger resume than Ohio State, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? I agree. So the same thing that I'm saying about Alabama. Ohio State is on a razor-thin margin right now. Razor-thin margin to make it. And to be honest with you, I'll say the same thing about Michigan. Because if I click on Michigan's schedule, they are one that I think is interesting how Michigan has had a cakewalk. East Carolina, UNLV, and Bowling Green where they're out of conference game. You want to know the craziest thing at this point of the season, Ryan? Michigan's not played a top 25 team. They will play Penn State in 2 weeks, and they will play Ohio State at the end of the season. So Michigan and Ohio State are in the same thing. They have built it up that it will come down to the game. That's it. Because neither one of them has an impressive enough resume to make it without it. I think if any of these teams, it's the Pac-12 teams that have an impressive resume enough that you could try to say a one-loss team could make it. Because they have a lot of top 25 matchups out there. The SEC's down, man.
Yeah, so since Oklahoma just lost to Kansas, there's no way we could see an undefeated team miss the playoff, right? No, I don't. I think because Oklahoma lost.
So as we look at it right today, there's only 5 teams undefeated left.
Right. And
I'm sorry, Air Force. Sorry.
Yeah. And then one of those is going to lose because of Ohio State.
Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, and Washington. So there's a guaranteed loss. So there will be at least a minimum, I don't want to say, a maximum of 4 undefeated teams at the end of the season, when in reality, there'll probably only be 2.
Yeah.
Probably only be 2.
Well,
Florida State and Georgia. No, because you're right.
3. Because that's right. They're going to be 4. Like, yeah.
I guess you're right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Unless Michigan or Ohio State lose.
So realistically, Ohio State, you want Washington to lose. You want, obviously, Florida State to lose. And then.
Do you know who's leading the West right now in the Big Ten?
Is it not? No.
Minnesota.
Minnesota? Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So in the conference,
That's so stupid.
Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Nebraska are all 3-2. Iowa has the best record at 6-2, but you want to know what happened to Iowa? They lost Cade McNamara. He tore his ACL. He's out. This is not the year that they're breaking it up, right? This year's still East versus West. They're changing that in the future. I don't think they're changing it this year.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Dude, where's the time gone? It's 52. Oh, my God. All right, we got to fly. Holy cow. We got to go. So let's get to our picks. Typico. Use that code BigPlay150. Get signed up. Bet whether we got into a college football debate. I don't know what to tell you. All right. College football done. Pro football. Let's get to Monday Night Football tonight. I've got the Raiders. I have the Detroit Lions. This is set at a 7 or a 7.5 point spread. I like the hook. Lions coming in at 5-2, but coming off of a tough loss their last time out as they lost to the Baltimore Ravens 38-6. Got smoked. 1-4 straight. Other than that, you flip it over for the Vegas Raiders. They're coming off that shocking loss to Chicago, but they had to start Aiden O'Connell. They had to start Hoyer. It is what it is. Before that, they beat New England and Green Bay. So, yeah, solid wins, I guess. Opened at 7.5. It has stayed at 7.5. A pretty high over-under, 47.5 for this game. Let me get to some trends for you. Let me start with the Vegas Raiders. They're only 2-4 against the spread their last 6 games. They are only 3-7 straight up in their last 10. But the Raiders are 6-3 against the spread their last 9 games against the Detroit Lions. They're only 1-4 straight up in their last 5 against the Lions, but they cover. Vegas is not good on the road. They're only 1-5 against the spread their last 6 games on the road. They're only 2-4 straight up in their last 6 games when they play at Ford Field. Flip it over for Detroit, 14-3 against the spread their last 17 games. As we know, 4-1 in their last 5 games. They are 7-1 against the spread their last 8 games at home. The over seems to be the play here. Over 4 out of Detroit's last 6 games, and the over is hit in 5 of the last 7 games between the Vegas Raiders and the Detroit Lions. 7.5 is the play here. Ryan, Detroit at home. Your selection, please.
I would love it, if it was at 7 or the 6.5. I might buy down to 6.5 and then throw in something like the over, but regardless, I would say Detroit covers that.
Okay, we'll differ here. I'll take Vegas. That's too big of a number for me, so I'm going to spread it on that one. All right, game 3 tonight. Baseball. Just make your selection, I guess. I could run through trends with you, but baseball trends are a little kind of fluky and funky.
I'll just take the Rangers.
Scherzer's on the hill for the Rangers. Fat is over there for the Diamondbacks. I'll ride with the Rangers on you.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we'll go with the Rangers on that. Cavs are back in action tomorrow, so we will get into a little bit more Cavs betting as we go on out. Let's get to our bracket of the week, folks. It's been a hot topic recently because some has crashed, some have worked. YouTube TV had some problems. We're into football season, so we're going to do this as our big play bracket of the week, your favorite streaming service. So if we can get to 16, we'll do it. But I think it's probably more of an 8.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see. So tweet it at MattFontaine83. I'll send this out, your favorite streaming service. We will reveal the brackets on tomorrow's show. Today was kind of weird. Today was kind of an off day. Browns lost. It almost would have been easier if you just got smacked, but you didn't. The play call on Stefanski, I'm sure he'll talk about it. I'm sure he wants that one back. It doesn't change how I feel about him. I still think he's a damn good coach. Think there's a chance that they could turn this around. Sunday, I don't want to think about Deshaun Watson because just call me when he's ready to go. You need Deshaun Watson for Sunday. Trade deadline for tomorrow. We'll see if anything else kind of ramps up. I have it on the record here. I don't think the Browns are going to make any moves. I don't really see it, especially for even a wide receiver. It makes no sense to me. So we'll get to that coming up. But keep an eye out. Keep an eye out to see how some of the other trades, some of the other impactful things. And then again, for tonight, I'll take the Raiders plus 7.5. Young Ryan running with Detroit. Enjoy the evening. Great night. Jackets are in action tonight. The Blue Jackets. You got baseball. You got Monday Night Football. You got you locked and loaded. Typical. Big play 150. And big play is where you need it. Chico coming up 12-2. Reflog show tonight. Josh and Maria Cribs tomorrow night. Go back and watch the Anthony Schlegel, Bobby Carpenter show on Sunday night. Everywhere you need it. Big play on Twitter. Just search it. All the shows, all the tweets, everything that you need right there at Big Play or our website, bigplay.com. Get our sweet merch going. I finally got my werewolf t-shirt. I'll probably wear it tomorrow. Excited about that. Appreciate and glad and thank you for for joining us here on Big Play for 2 minutes of your morning, for the whole morning. We certainly very much appreciate you. Don't go anywhere. Stay on the iHeart app as well. Coming up 12 to 2 is Chico Borman. So it's a weird Monday, but we'll soldier on with it. Great stuff. Appreciate everybody joining us this morning. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana, and as always, take it easy.